The JES-1 is set as a landmark in the historical city of Moscow. It is located in a privileged place, but currently it is useless because it lost its utility as a power plant. The JES-1 is an architectural element from another time. Now, our objective is to adapt the JES-1 to the post-carbon ages, giving it new programs, but reminding its industrial type. The project of the new JES-1 looks for humanized the power plant, following two different processes. In one hand, we try to encapsulate the new program introduced, giving it a human scale. The project will be formed by programmatic islands into the space, connecting by public area. In the other hand, we made use of Hundertwasser theory. The 5 skins that we already used at the factory's characterization, and it will be used in the further new programs. The theory define a person or a place based on 5 layers of information: epidermis, clothes, houses, identity and earth. The programmatic capsules are set on the place, generating connections with the environment. We pay special attention to the flows of people moving, because the future users will mark the spaces using the different skins. The JES-1 division starts with in-space syntax with the programs, areas and connections. We elaborate this concept mapping with each program. Finally, we overlapping it, getting the end positions of the capsule programs in the space. The industrial character is kept reusing the metal trusser, facade pieces or the chimney at the new building. Moreover, the project create a north-south wooded path and public areas between the capsule programs.
A programmatic symbiosis model is proposed between large recycling facilities and public programs to guarantee their inclusion in the urban fabric, avoiding the export of more than 90% of the waste to landfills. In the JES-1, the large chimney of the shed are maintained, taking advantage of them as a vertical communication, as well as the trash for the new proposed structure. It is intended to integrate a waste classification plant focused on recycling to obtain plastics. A waste-to-energy center that will use non-recycled waste and biofuels to generate energy from the entire site. In addition, all the energy from the incineration and refrigeration process will be harnessed. Finally, a fashion center that will be supplied with the raw material generated from recycled waste, along with possible public space conditioned by the waste-to-energy center. Therefore, a circular economy model is generated, and a new urban milestone dedicated to the transparency of the recycling process.
The creation of a new spatial concept brings together several religions in the same place without any type of discrimination or social margination. After the lack of the social facilities around the power plant, an educational center with a sport area was implemented, responding to the needs of the intergenerational residents on the plot. The multi-religious center has 2 entrances. The south is the main one. It is composed of a central play space and several towers. The highest one is public, and it is a tourist attraction. The educational space is a flexible building, where the spaces can be modified according to the requirements of the users. The main facade of the power station has been preserved, and it is surrounded by the proposed prototype of recycled plastic. The educational center is implemented with a sport space, open to the residents of the area. These spaces create a new set of cultural and social interest.
The project proposes an intergenerational center placed on the space of the JES-1. This center can be seen as a cumulative scene of programs combining residential, productive, commercial spaces, equipment, and recreational areas. The center is inserted on a continuous infrastructure, which takes advantage of the pre-existence parts, generating a connecting element in the space, placing the scenes based on a private-public axis, placing residential spaces in the least accessible areas, and, on the axis north-south, the services proposed for residents and external to the center. As a connecting element, a lookout tower is proposed, where the visitor center is placed, a connecting point between residents and outsiders, complemented by dining areas and cafeterias, and supported by professional areas that contain the necessary services for the administration of the center. The residential space is planned in the north volume of the JES-1, using the existing trusses. Housing units between 8 to 12 people are proposed, with spaces of different types that accommodate the proposed users: elderly, dependent elderly, elderly with children in their care, and young workers with children in charge. These rooms are organized in domestic units, always with a visual connection to the yards and relationship with the environment. The spaces have restrooms, dining room and kitchen, as well as access to basic services shared with non-resident users.